Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to Well with Mika, where we talk real wellness for your real life. I'm Mika, your cultural wellness ally, and today we're going to get into some research that suggests that women might get similar heart health benefits from about half the exercise time as men. Dang! Okay, yes, half the exercise time. But before you run out there with this headline like, oh, I ain't got to do as much as you, let's step back a bit and get into what the research actually shows, what it doesn't, and what it means for you. Because it's not all women have it easier. That's not the whole story. It's a little bit more complicated than that, okay? Now, what it is, it's a large UK study tracking about 80,000 people using fitness trackers. Women who did, and what they found was that women who did 140 minutes per week of moderate to vigorous activity saw significant reductions in mortality risk. Okay, so their risk of dying decreased. And whereas men needed roughly 300 minutes per week for similar benefits. So this is looking particularly at heart health, right? Now, keep in mind that these are population level averages across thousands of people. So, not rules for your personal body, but this is across the population. So, why might these patterns even exist? Researchers point to several factors. So, one is biology. Men tend to have more fast twitch muscle fibers, so for power and bursts, right? Whereas women have more slow twitch fibers, more for endurance. So women's bodies also use fat as fuel more efficiently during moderate exercise. So that could be a factor. Then we have the measurement issue. Traditional studies measure intentional exercise, but they usually miss that incidental movement, that NEPA, the non exercise physical activity, such as things like childcare, housework, caregiving. And women, they tend to do more of these things, and those go uncounted, right? Then we have baseline differences. Women often start with lower baseline activity for various reasons, and so adding moderate exercise that will create a bigger relative impact. So just meaning if you go from sedentary couch potato, feet up, doing nothing to, oh, I'm just going to take a 10-minute walk every day, you're going to have a greater impact on your body positively than someone trying to go from, let's say, walking daily to now, running. They're going to see less of a there it's just not going to be as big of an impact as the person going from doing nothing to something. So what's the bottom line? These differences, yes, they exist, but they're biological and social and methodological all mixed together. So it's not just one reason. So what don't we know? We have to be honest about the gaps, right? This research, it focuses mainly on cardiovascular health. We have less sex specific, geez, I can't speak, less sex specific data on strength training, mental health benefits, or metabolic health. And these studies, they're showing association, not causation. So, taking into account things like hormones, age, stress, and health conditions, that's going to affect your response way more than just your biological sex does. And most exercise research historically excluded women. We're only now recently getting that sex specific data. So take these as more patterns, not prescriptions, because things are still unfolding. And then we have to remember that strength training counts too. This research here is focusing on cardio, but everyone also needs strength training for your bones, metabolism, longevity. And men build muscle mass faster, but women build strength at similar rates relative to their starting point. So, what's the recommendation? Both cardio and strength training, regardless of sex. The exact mix is going to depend on your goals and what you'll stick with, because remember, your wellness journey has to be real, right for you, energizing, achievable, and lasting. So pick things that you're going to stick with, all right? Now, what actually affects exercise in your everyday life? For us women, it could be our menstrual cycles, pregnancy, menopause. All of these things change our needs. And not to mention there are things like caregiving and safety concerns that might limit where and when we move outdoors. For men, you have cultural pressure, that go hard, go home mentality that might lead to injury, overuse, and then we can't forget mental health struggles for men go unaddressed too often. And, we have to account for that. And then work demands that can make exercise feel more like an obligation than, the self care bucket that we usually have for women. That category is there for women, and it's usually not applied for men. And then for everybody, we have, neighborhood safety, income, do you have access to gyms, or just safe spaces to exercise, disability, chronic illness, all of those shape what's possible. Your response to exercise, it's shaped by way more than your sex. That's the point. So now, practically, what does this mean? You don't need hours in the gym for real benefits. Consistency beats duration. Count all your movement, whether it's walking, the stairs, picking up groceries, laundry. Just notice your body across, over the course of the day, how it feels, and then for women, especially, adjust it based on your cycle. And definitely for everyone, mix in the cardio and the strength. And for men, more movement through the week. And it doesn't all have to be intense, but because moderate activity definitely counts, you just don't want to skip strength training. And if you're not seeing any results, maybe think, am I giving enough time for recovery? Is stress a factor? Just really look at it and try to pull in all the things that make sense for your life. All right. And then don't compare your responses, your body's responses, or timelines with other people. If you're moving with other people, just find activities that you both enjoy, celebrate the different wins, just show up for each other, because to support each other's different needs. Don't force anyone into, exercise like I do or do what I do. Everybody's different. It's good to experiment. It's good to, dibble and dabble and try out the different things with your partner, your family member, or whoever. But don't force people into your particular exercise box, okay? So for this week or the weekend, I want you to, you know, not just exercise. Look at all of your movement. Am I taking the chance, taking the opportunity to get up and move as much as possible? And then maybe you might realize you're doing more than you think. Or maybe you'll say, oh, wait, I've been sitting here for hours and I ain't moved yet. Let me get my behind up and go somewhere and do something. And try something new with someone. Notice how your bodies respond differently and celebrate that. Don't judge it. Don't judge yourself or them. Just celebrate it all. And then ask yourself, what movement made me feel like, what lit me up this week? Did I love doing this thing? Do I want to do it again? Not just how many calories did I burn? It's what did I do? Do I feel alive based on this activity that I did? Then please let go of the guilt, all right? 150 is a great marker of how many minutes per week you should aim for some good moderate activity. But if you're just starting out, please do not beat yourself up, whether it's 30 minutes, whether it's 300, walking or lifting. Just starting is a win. And, your goal is to just incrementally just get better and better and improve, okay? Your wellness journey is valid. It is yours. Don't compare it, okay? Now, in closing, yes, men and women, they might have different patterns, but your individual circumstances also matter. Your body is unique, your movement practices are going to be unique. All right. So, thank you so much for listening. I hope that this helped you to frame some of these, articles and insights that come out. And if it did, please share it with someone. Until next time, please keep moving, keep connecting, keep living. Your real wellness starts with you. As always, happy health and peace.